everybody, my name's Michelle and I'm a volunteer here at Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and this is going to be our weekly wolf blog. And today I actually have a sticky note because I have a lot to talk about, but I'm hanging out with Kenai, Kikoa, and Sakara. We'll see how much they stay over here with us, but today we're going to talk about some of the ancient myths and legends about wolves. So, not so much a myth, but kind of an interesting fact that I found out was that in 1927, a French police officer actually shot what he thought was a werewolf. Now, turned out that it wasn't a werewolf. Instead, it was actually a child, a little boy. I think the kid was probably okay. However, it was kind of an interesting coincidence that that same year, 1927, was the year that France's last wolf was actually shot and killed. Another ancient legend revolving around wolves was actually that Vikings, was that Vikings would actually consider wolves as being their battle partners. Now I find that interesting because wolves, of course, they're extremely neophobic, terrified of strangers, and probably would be terrible battle partners. However, the myth still arises that Vikings revered the wolves and pretty much thought of them as being equal. Now, of course, there are probably a lot more myths and legends revolving around wolves about wolves turning people into things, or wolves being turned into monsters. That's probably more the myth or the legend. You can't have my paper. But there's a lot of myths about if you get bitten by a wolf, you'll, of course, the first myth would be that you turn into a werewolf, which of course is not true. Another myth or legend, which is actually something that was believed back in the 18th century, was that if you were bitten by a wolf, you would actually contract lupus. Now, lupus is, of course, an autoimmune disorder, definitely not caused by wolf bites, but unfortunately that was something that they believed back in the 18th century. Now, there was something I came across that was really interesting while I was researching this, and that was that the Greeks actually would believe that if you were to eat meat that came from a lamb or a sheep that had been killed by wolves, you would turn into a vampire. So, as far as turning into a vampire after eating meat from an animal that a wolf has killed, it's probably not going to happen either. Hi, Kikoa. There's Kikoa. Oops, hold on. I know. I'm going to keep petting you. Now, of course, everybody is probably very familiar with the legend of Romulus and Remus, or Romulus and Remus, from Rome. Now, the Romans believed that both Romulus and Remus were rescued or raised by a she-wolf. And so wolves were pretty revered by them, and in fact, they would hold a festival every year. It was actually called the... Oh, thank you. Oh. It's actually called Lupercalia, and it was a festival highly attended by women because women believed that it would increase their fertility. Now, of course, this wasn't the case, as it usually is with most of your legends, but Romulus and Remus were actually not the only children who were supposedly raised by wolves. In the 1920s, there were actually stories of... What are you doing? There are actually stories of frightening spirits coming in the woods, frightening screams. Hey, no stealing, no stealies, no stealies. Sorry, I am being eaten alive. This is that, what is it? What is that show, Eaten Alive? Hey, quit. This is about as bad as it gets. Kenai, quit. So, as I was saying, there were some stories about frightening spirits in the woods. And when they went to investigate these so-called frightening spirits, they actually found two little girls in the forest who were running around naked. They were walking on all fours and acting like... Oh, he got the paper. They were acting like wolves. Now, if you act like a wolf, you see how that goes. But they actually found them with a wolf in the den, and when they brought the children back to so-called civilization, the children unfortunately actually passed away within a year. Now, That's probably just, unfortunately, because of the time period back in the 1920s and modern medicine wasn't so great. But hope you guys enjoyed this weekly wolf blog. This is something that we put out here for you guys. So if you have any questions or you have anything that you want to know about wolves, foxes, coyotes, what we're doing here at the center, wild animals, it can even be about the ravens, the magpies, it's fine. Please let us know your questions, because we're running out of ideas and topics. So if it's something that is on your mind and we haven't answered in one of our previous wolf blogs, leave it in the comments below and we'll be happy to get those answers to you. And we will see you guys next week.